We had multiple title matches on last night's AEW Dynamite, including a fantastic main event where new champions were crowned. Also on the card, hometown star Anna Jay faced Serena Deeb, while Luchasaurus was also in singles action. So yeah, a packed show for the first night of AEW Fyter Fest, which of course continues into next week. And like I said, a big show, so let's get straight into it with Wardlow v Orange Cassidy for the TNT title. Cassidy went for his usual move, putting his hands in his pockets, but Wardlow tore his pockets out. Cassidy went for a Hurricane Rana, but couldn't get Mr. Mayhem off his feet. Best friends then tried to get involved at ringside, but got ejected by the ref. Orange used the distraction to send Wardlow crashing out of the ring. He followed up with a top rope suicida, but Wardlow looked like an immovable object in his way. He went to powerbomb Orange Cassidy on the floor, but he manoeuvred out and sent Wardlow face first into the ring post. The latter then chased Cassidy around the ring and ended up pulling Danhausen out from under it. He was too scared of Wardlow to curse him, but Orange Cassidy took the opportunity to blindside Wardlow with the orange punch. Back in the ring, Cassidy sent Wardlow head first into the turnbuckle. He went for a crossbody, but Wardlow caught him in midair. Orange once again broke free and hit Wardlow with a chop block, trying to ground the big man. Cassidy followed up with a spinning DDT, but Wardlow kicked out at one. The champion then hit Orange Cassidy with the F10, but he kicked out. Wardlow then went to follow up with a powerbomb, but Cassidy broke free again. Orange went back up on the top rope for a diving DDT. Wardlow caught him in midair, but Cassidy countered into a stun dog millionaire, which he followed out with a big break for a near fall. Cassidy then went for the orange punch, but Wardlow caught him in midair and hit a powerbomb, and that was enough to put Cassidy away. And yeah, a really fun match to kick off the show. Gets a 7 out of 10 from me. But yeah, two babyfaces going at it. I personally wouldn't have liked seeing Cassidy handed a loss, but you know, it's still just such a banging match. Danhausen bit was fun. Wardlow getting really over. He's going to have a great run in as TNT champion. I can really feel it. So yeah, on a whole, good stuff. 7 out of 10. Next up on Dynamite, Chris Jericho was out. And he addressed Eddie Kingston, challenging him to a barbed wire death match to get revenge for his friends. Jericho said that he'd humiliated Eddie's friends and put them on the sidelines, including Kingston's close friend Ruby Soho, who now had a mangle hand. Jericho then called Eddie Kingston Mark for Onita and Sabu for challenging him to a barbed wire match. Chris Jericho then said he had a history with barbed wire matches, including the first barbed wire match in Canadian history when he was 22. He added that Kingston will be facing a Painmaker next week, and not just Chris Jericho. Adding after that, the Wizard has done, beating him, he would go back to being insignificant. And yeah, kind of just a stopgap promo here. I mean, like, just building up to that match. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, just a continuation of a few, really, not much more to report here. John Moxley then took on Konohatakashita. John Moxley took Takashita down early on, but the Japanese superstar was quickly back on his feet. Both men traded chops before the AEW World Champion took Takashita down with a lariat. Moxley then pulled Takashita out to the apron and went for a pile driver, but the latter blocked it and hit Moxley with a green German suplex on the apron. He followed the return of favour with a boot across the jaw as he headed to the commercial. Moxley continued to pound Takashita out at the ringside, busting the Japanese star open. Back in the ring, Mox bit Takashita across the forehead before hitting a suplex. Moxley then went knocking into the cross-arm breaker, but Takashita rolled over and managed to get his boot on the bottom rope. Takashita in turn then took Mox down and hit a frog splash from the top rope. He followed it up with a rolling elbow and a German suplex, but it wasn't enough to put Moxie away. John soon hit back with a paradigm shift to pick up the W. And yeah, gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Really fun match. Takashita just getting better and better by the week in AEW. And yeah, just genius stuff. Looking forward to seeing what Moxie can do in the future, because yeah, the first part of his reign has been really great so far. Christian Cage and Luchasaurus were out next on Dynamite, and they addressed Griff, Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr., who were in the ring. Christian called Pillman Jr.'s late father an average wrestler before saying that Griff Garrison looks a lot like Jungle Boy, and that led to a match. Luchasaurus hit a German suplex early, forcing Garrison outside. He dragged him back into the ring and hit a chokeslam in the middle of the ring. Cage then asked Luchasaurus to hit a second chokeslam from out of ringside, and the big man obliged. He locked in the tar pit and forced Garrison to tap out. Luchasaurus then dragged Garrison to ringside after the match and went to chokeslam through the announcer's table. Pillman Jr. tried to stop it, but ate a headbutt from Luchasaurus. The former Jurassic Express member then placed Pillman Jr. on the timekeeper's table and chokeslammed Garrison through it. And yeah, I mean, like, good stuff. 6 out of 10. To be honest, though, it kind of feels like we've seen this enough now. Are we going to move on to something else? Who really knows? But you know, for what it was fine. 6 out of 10. Hangman Page was then backstage with Tony Schiavone. He said he was disappointed about the battle royal last week while Brody King eliminated him. Silver and Reynolds came up and challenged them to a 6-man tag team match against the House of Black on Rampage. Before we got Jake Hager versus Claudio Castagnoli. Claudio charged at Hager as soon as the bell rang and hit him with a knockout. Claudio then went for a neutralize, but Hager pulled out and rolled out of the ring. Back in the ring, Hager went for the hanger bomb, but it was blocked. Claudio then hit Jake Hager with a modified version of 619. Hager didn't take it lying down, however, and took control of the match, laying Claudio in the corner, and he dominated the match for the next couple of minutes, until Claudio hit back with spinning springboard uppercut. Claudio continued to be raining in uppercuts, forcing Hager out to the ringside. Back in the ring, Claudio, with a giant swing on Hager, transitioned into a sharpshooter. Hager signaled to the back while he was in the hold, and fellow JS members Maynard and Parker ran down to the ring. Hager then briefly took control of the match thanks to the distraction, but it didn't last long. Claudio took out Angelo Parker before hitting Hager with a sit-out powerbomb for the W. And yeah, first singles match in AEW for Claudio. And yeah, really good match for me. 7 out of 10. Perfect first opponent for him with the history they've got. So yeah, on whole, good stuff. 7 out of 10. Serena Deeb took on Hometown Hero Anna Jay next up, but it didn't stop Serena trying to pick up a quick win. She tried to lock in the Serenity Lock. Jay almost reversed into a Queen Slayer. The match briefly spilled out to Serena's side right in front of Anna Jay's family, who were in the front row. Serena then clawed Anna Jay across the face before taking a downward backbreaker. Anna Jay then briefly locked in a Queen Slayer, but Deeb broke free with an arm drag. Deeb then locked in a single leg Boston Crab, forcing Anna Jay to tap out. Deeb refused to break the hold, and after the match, Mercedes Martinez ran out to chase Deeb away. And yeah, gets 6 out of 10 from me. I mean, like, Anna Jay getting a hometown appearance kind of is always going to be a loss, but yeah, just building up the Martinez Deeb feud, so no issue with that really. Gets 6 out of 10 from me. Jake Hager and the baddies were then backstage with Tony Schiavone. Jay was still not happy about the interim baddie situation. Hathaway then took the mic and sent a warning to Athena and Statlander. Before Anna Jay was backstage in the doctor's room with Tony, Take On T approached her and told her to make better choices for her career. And then it's time for a triple tag team title match. Lee and Jackson, Matt started things off for their teams. Lee went straight in for a jumping spin kick, but Matt avoided, but tagged in his brother immediately. Swerve also tagged in, and Nick Jackson with an Escalera before both men vaulted out to the floor and went face to face. Hobbs and Ricky Starks then got into the match and cleared the ring, taking control of it. Starks and Swerve were the legal men at this point. During the outbreak, we saw Keith Lee toss Ricky Starks into the Young Bucks, clearing the ring. The big man then went for the dive, but was pulled out of the ring by Hobbs and Starks. Nicky Jackson went for a diver, but Keith Lee caught him mid-air and powerbombed him into his brother. Back in the ring, Hobbs and Starks came close to winning after Starks hit Nick Jackson with a cutter. Swerve and Matt tagged in, Nick Jackson with the blinding tag, and the Bucks took out Swerve with a super kick. Ricky Starks then joined the Bucks and took down Keith Lee with a triple super kick. The Bucks then took out Starks. Meanwhile, the ref went down. Matt Jackson grabbed the title belt, but Ricky Starks took him out. Swerve then grabbed the title belt, but Matt Jackson hit him with a low blow. Jackson with the belt shot to Keith Lee, Ricky Starks and Swerve. The Young Bucks then hit Swerve with a BTE trigger, but the Starks broke up the count. Keith Lee then took out Nick Jackson before they hit Matt Jackson with the Swerve stomp. Hobbs broke it all up and Dish spine busted out the wall. Starks then cut Swerve in half with a spear, but Matt Jackson broke up the count. Keith Lee tossed Hobbs out of the ring. Swerve then hit a moonsault off Keith Lee's chest and out to ringside. Lee then hit a running dive out to the outside before Swerve hit Ricky Starks in the Swerve stomp, and that was enough to put him away and crown a new tag team champions. And yeah, I did not see this coming. It gets a 7 out of 10 from me. The match was probably 8 out of 10 good, but yeah, I did not see this coming. I guess it's going to lead to like they having a split very soon while they're champions. But yeah, with all the teasing, like I say, I was very surprised by this result. I thought Young Bucks would go on it. They'd have a dominant reign. It'd lead to Young Bucks versus FTR, winner takes all. At the next pay-per-view in a 2 out of 3 falls match. I still think that's probably the direction we're heading in. But yeah, just kind of a bit of a roadblock. So yeah, I'm kind of intrigued to see where it goes. But for that, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, just out of intrigue to see where it goes, really. But yeah, on the whole, it's a really great match. Overall, AEW Fyter Fest gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Yeah, really enjoyed the show. Great matches throughout, really. And some, very interesting booking decisions, which I guess we'll kind of have to see where it goes. But on the whole, this was a really solid episode of Dynamite. And yeah, very intrigued to see where all of it goes, really. But anyway, guys, that's it for video. Thanks very much for watching. Until like, share, subscribe. If you have any thoughts, comments down below. Follow us for daily wrestling news and subscribe to my channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.